with this piece, once it starts, it just goes, and there's really not much of a break or a rest or anything in the piece once it gets going. The whole piece is like this. I felt that it was appropriate that the piece I'm going to use to open my recital with, it's the shortest, so this video explaining everything is going to probably be the shortest, but when it gets down to it, this piece in a very, roughly a 4.5-ish minute time frame, we're going to go through 1,115 notes, and I'm using that to represent the idea of having anxiety and overthinking really any situation, any day-to-day situation. It's really easy to get stuck in here all the time, and so I really want you guys to think, as you're watching this, that this isn't just another Bach piece. It's not just another sequence. I really want this to represent this idea that, when we start to overanalyze and overthink and have a lot of anxious thoughts, that it takes one thought to kind of get to that I guess anxious type of feeling, and then from there the rest of the thoughts just swoop in, and they don't stop. They just keep coming one after another with what feels like no real sense of rest after or during. So every note that you hear is represented by the idea that each separate note is a different idea that's come into your mind when we are when we are having anxiety or we are overthinking a situation. And I think the repeated notes in the piece are also important because they also emphasize this idea that, sometimes when we have those train of thoughts, when we're overthinking something, a lot of the times we come back to a particular thought. It turns into this idea of a would have, could have, should have, this situation could have been different, how should it have been different? And so I think the fact that there's a bunch of notes that are repeated in this piece, other than that's just how the piece was written, all those years ago. But I really want this piece to represent that idea. And I don't mean to put words into Bach's mouth or his masterpiece. Obviously his works are his works and they're masterpieces for a reason. But this is just my interpretation. This is how this piece not necessarily makes me feel, but I think this piece has the capability of representing those emotions and that idea.